We are continuing our study of Chapter 6 in the Biblical Hebrew Grammar by Coutts and Joesberger. Today we'll be talking a little bit about a particular kind of adjective called demonstratives that are very important for both English and Hebrew. And then we'll also talk about the direct object marker, which you are already familiar with in our recitation of Genesis chapter 1. And then we'll also talk a little bit about verbless clauses, which we began studying in our last video. So if you think about it, all this stuff is not entirely new, which is good. So let's get more specific about these concepts of adjectives, nouns, and then demonstratives. So, man, that's an indefinite article, and then a noun. A man, or the man. Now we have a definite article and a noun. That noun is now definite. The man, like one man, right? That one. The good man, we said that is a definite article, and then a definite adjective, and then a definite noun. The man, that's a definite noun. The good man, that's an attributive adjective, right? That is modifying the definite noun man. This man. What we're looking at here is a demonstrative. It demonstrates something. This man. It's an adjective because this is a describing word. It's pointing out one man among others. You could say the tall man, the big man, or this man. The word this is a demonstrative. This good man, right, is two adjectives in a row, the demonstrative and then the attributive adjective good. This good man. This, in English, is a marker of definiteness as well. This good man is a specific man that someone is trying to point out, and that then is a definite noun and a definite adjective. So what we have here, a man, that's just an indefinite noun. The man, that's the definite article plus a noun, which is now made into a definite noun. The good man, that's a definite noun plus our adjective, good. This man, that's a demonstrative, a special kind of adjective, plus a noun. And then this good man, a demonstrative plus an adjective, an attributive adjective there, plus a noun. Okay, so demonstrative, right, to demonstrate. This is the definition of this word is serving to point out or exhibit, coming from the Latin demonstrare, to show something, to point something out. This, that, these, those. Those words that I just said out loud, these words that you can see right here, notice I'm using demonstratives. These words right here are all the demonstratives in English. This, that, these, those. This man, that woman, these men, those women. In Hebrew, our demonstratives are these three words here. Notice that we can divide them up for masculine and feminine singular. Masculine and feminine singular. And then a common plural form. Our masculine singular form is ze. So if I say this man in Hebrew, I would say ze ish. Ish meaning man, ze meaning this. Ze ish. This man. I can also use it to say that man, a far demonstrative. Near demonstrative, this, like it's right here in front of me. That just means like it's kind of far away or it's not right in front of me. But in English, we can use these pretty interchangeably much of the time. In Hebrew, some people will point out there are other words you might be able to use for these far demonstratives. There are a couple different ways that you can kind of point out something in Hebrew. For my sake, these are what I call the demonstratives here: ze, zot, and ela. Ze meaning this or that. Zot, this is the feminine singular form, this or that. So if I say ze ish, this man, ze, zot isha, that woman, and then ela is used common plural. That means for both masculine and feminine forms. So a feminine plural form and a masculine plural form will both be described by this demonstrative ela. So ela anashim, these men, or ela nashim, these women. Demonstratives, they are often actually categorized as their own thing, demonstratives, but really they're adjectives, and they may function sometimes purely as adjectives. They may function much like the word green or tall or fast. So here we can see ha-ish ha-tov. Ha-ish, ha-tov. Now the words ish and tov should be familiar to you just from our last video. Ish meaning man and tov meaning good. Ha-ish, ha-tov. That's our noun here and our adjective here. They both have the definite article. Notice this is our noun, this is our adjective. They both have the definite article. The adjective comes after and agrees in definiteness, so it must be attributive, which means you just stick them together, and that is the good man, or literally in Hebrew, the man, the good one. Ha-ish ha-zeh, ha-ish ha-zeh is the man, this. Zeh is our demonstrative, right? Our masculine singular demonstrative. Zeh, and then zot for feminine singular, and ela for common plural. So ha-ish ha-zeh, the man, the this. This man. Ha-ish ha-zeh, this man. Okay, we can have a couple more examples here. So ha-isha ha-tova. Ha-isha ha-tova. Notice we have isha, which is woman. Ha-isha, the woman. It's definite. And then it's followed by the definite article plus the feminine singular form of the adjective tov. Ha-tova. Ha-isha ha-tova. That is an attributive adjective. The noun plus an attributive adjective. It comes after. It agrees in definiteness. So there you go. That's the good woman. Now, if I say ha-isha ha-zot, remember zot is my feminine singular demonstrative. Zet, zot, ela. Those are my three demonstratives. Ha-isha ha-zot is the woman, the this, or this woman. So notice it's following after the noun, and it's agreeing in definiteness. Another example, ha-anashim ha-tovim. Anashim is the plural for man, so it's men. Notice your plural ending, im. You have the definite article on front, the ha, and then you have an adjective that's coming after that agrees in definiteness, starts with a ha, and it has a masculine plural ending, im. So it's agreeing in definiteness, and it's coming after. So that's an attributive adjective. And now I would say, the men, the good, and I would say, the good men. Next, we have another example here using our demonstrative, ha-anashim ha-ela. The men, the these. Or these men. Notice that our demonstrative is functioning like an adjective and is taking, it plays the same role as an attributive adjective in these examples. So you know to translate it like an attributive adjective. Ha-nashim, remember that's our plural for women, that's our unusual plural ending. Ha-tovot, ha-nashim, ha-tovot, the women, the good ones, or the good women. Ha-nashim, ha-ela, remember ela is a common plural demonstrative. It functions for both masculine and feminine grammatical genders. So ha-nashim, the women, ha-ela, the these. So these women. A couple more examples here. So ha-ish, ha-tov, that's the good man. This is our attributive adjective. What if I want to say the good man, this one, or this good man? Well, I could just add the demonstrative to the end of this clause here. Ha-ish, that's a noun. Ha-tov, that's my attributive adjective that's agreeing in definiteness and in number and gender and comes after. And then after that, I put the demonstrative, ha-zeh. This also has a definite article. It's agreeing in definiteness and it's coming after. It's functioning like an attributive adjective. So here I would say, the man, the good one, the this. That's how Hebrew says it. And if I translate to English, I would put this at the beginning because that's how English puts this, the word order, the demonstrative, and then an adjective, and then the noun for English. So this good man. The man, the good one, the this. Translates to English, this good man. Ha-isha ha-tova is an attributive adjective plus a noun, which means the woman, the good one, or in English, the good woman. If I wanted to say this good woman, I would add hazot, the feminine demonstrative, with the definite article at the end of that chain. Notice I'm making a chain. I have a noun, and then my adjectives come after. And I could add other adjectives to this, by the way. I could say this good and happy woman, or this good and laughing woman, right? So I could say ha-isha, ha-tova, ha-yitzka, ha-zot. This good laughing woman, right? Or something like that. So I'll just say you can kind of create this chain and the demonstrative of adjectives to keep describing something, although it doesn't happen often in Hebrew because they don't use adjectives all that much in Hebrew. You'll notice when you start translating, they're pretty spare with their descriptive words in ancient Hebrew. But at the end, you'll have the demonstrative if the speaker or writer wants to have one. The demonstrative comes last in the chain. Okay, let's do a couple of examples here. Zeh hamelech. So zeh, remember that's our demonstrative, which means this. It's our masculine singular demonstrative. And then hamelech. Zeh hamelech. This is actually missing our schwa symbol inside the final form kaf that got cut off there. But in any event, zeh hamelech. This, the king. Now remember, we had two different ways to write or say our adjectives in Hebrew. The first was attributive, which came after the noun and agreed indefiniteness. Remember, our second one was predicative, where we make a sentence out of it. We treat it like a verbless clause, right? So zeh hamelech, zeh is coming before or preceding. It prefers to precede, in this case, the noun. And it does not agree indefiniteness. So remember, we translate this as a predicative then, and we would say, this is the king. I'm throwing in the word is. I'm adding it to this sentence because in Hebrew, it's a verbless clause. You don't need the noun. You don't need the verb. You just have the demonstrative and the definite article in the noun. But in English, we like to have a verb for every sentence. So we would say this is, we would add this in, this is the king. So this is a predicative use of our demonstrative. Or here's another example. Zot, remember this is our feminine singular demonstrative. This, ha-malka. Now malka is like melech, same root meaning ruler, but it has a kametz he ending, which is a feminine ending, so it's the queen. This comes first, the zot, that comes first, and it precedes, and it does not have a definite article. So this is the queen. Or next, Ela ha-malachim. These are the kings. Or you could say these are the royal ones, because that could include some feminine members as well. Okay, so zeh hadavar. Zeh hadavar. This, the word, or thing, or matter, or affair. Davar means a lot of things. But zeh hadavar. This, the word. Zeh comes before, it precedes the noun that it's describing, and it does not agree indefiniteness. So it is, this is a not attributive, but predicative use of our demonstrative. And it's a masculine singular demonstrative because davar is a masculine object or subject. It's a masculine word, and it is singular here. This acts as actually a quotation from Exodus 16:16. This is the word. This is the story of the manna. So hagoy, ha-gadol, ha-zeh. This looks like a whole lot here, but let's just break this down. Hagoy. Goy is a word that means nation. So the nation, and then ha-gadol. Notice gadol, remember that one, meaning great or big. Ha is our definite article. So our adjective is coming after and is agreeing indefiniteness. So this is an attributive adjective. So the great nation, and then it's followed, afterwards comes hazeh, which agrees indefiniteness and comes after. So the nation, the great one, the this. Remember in English we flipped this, so it says this great nation. And this is a quotation from Deuteronomy 4:6, where God is talking about the choosing of Israel. Okay, Babayit hazeh. Babayit hazeh. Now, bayit should sound a little familiar. That's a word that means house. Babayit, remember that's our preposition that we can add to the front of that. It means in. Babayit means in the house. And then hazeh, the this one. In the house, the this. That's a attributive adjective because it's coming after and it's agreeing. Now, you might say, I don't see the definite article here. I don't see the definite article here. I see it here, hazeh. Remember when we have these prepositions like bait that you can slap onto the front of a word. If you wanted to say in a house, you would say ba, and there would be a schwa underneath here, babayit. If you want to say in the house, you don't say bahabayit. They reduce that to babayit. So if you see these prepositions like bait or lamed that you can stick onto the front of a word and attach them like Legos to the front of a word, and you see an A-class vowel underneath it, you're looking at the definite article. That's all it is. It's the definite article is now just the patak on the dagesh. The hay got swallowed up by the bait. So babayit is in the house, hazeh, this one. So that's an attributive adjective. The demonstrative is functioning like an attributive adjective in this house. Here's another example. Ha-Elohim, ha-Kadosh, hazeh. The God, ha-Elohim. Ha-Kadosh, the holy. Hazeh, the this. Now notice they're all agreeing in definiteness, and the adjective and the demonstrative are coming after. The demonstrative is coming last, so this would be the God, the holy one. The this, in English, this holy God. That's a quotation from 1 Samuel 6:20. Zot ha-aretz. Zot ha-aretz. Zot is our feminine singular demonstrative. So this, and then ha-aretz is the land. Notice that our demonstrative is coming before or preceding, and it does not agree in definiteness. So that's predicative. This is the land. That's a quotation from Numbers 34:2 and other places. This is the land that the Lord will give you, and so on. Ha-adama hazot. Ha-adama hazot. Remember, Adam means humanity, person, Adam. Adama means the soil or the ground. Ha-adama is the ground. Hazot is the this. Notice that zot is coming afterward. Adama is feminine, singular. That comment's hey at the end tells you that. Hazot is feminine, singular. It's agreeing in gender and number and agreeing in definiteness. They both have the definite article, and it comes after. So it would be this land. That's an attributive adjective. Ela ha-kohanim. Remember, Ela is our common plural form of the demonstrative. Ze, zot, Ela. So Ela, these, and then ha-kohanim, the priests. Ela is coming before, it's preceding, and it does not agree in definiteness. There's no hey patak dagesh in front of Ela. So it must be predicative. These are the priests. Another example, ahar, ha-devarim, ha-ela. Ahar means after. Ha-devarim, the words. Devar is word. Devarim, that's the masculine plural ending. And then the hey patak dagesh in the front, that's the definite article, the words. And then ha-ela, the these. Remember, that's our common plural demonstrative form. So after the words, the these, after these words. Remember, devar can also mean things. This is a phrase that you'll see a lot in the book of Genesis. After these things, it means like after some time, the next story that's going to come up. So after these words, but really it's often translated after these things. This particular occurrence, Genesis 22:1, is at the beginning of the story of the binding of Isaac, which follows quite strangely on the heels of Genesis 21, or quite poignantly, you might say, but it seems to be very abrupt. And so the narrator adds this after these things, everything that happened in chapter 21 with Hagar and Ishmael. So then, la'ir, ha-gedolah, ha-zot. Hazot. La'ir, ha-gedolah, hazot. La'ir, la is a preposition. You learned that. Remember, it means to or for. And then we have an A-class vowel underneath it, which means to the. Remember, this is our definite article got condensed into just this A-class vowel here. La-ir means the city. Le-ir with a schwa, vocal schwa, would mean just to a city or for a city. But here it's to the city. Ha-gadola hazot, the great, the this. So to this great city. Notice that these are attributive because they come after and they agree in definiteness. The demonstrative comes last, zot. So to this great city. And let's move to another topic here. That's a bunch of practice there with the demonstratives, but let's shift topics here. Let's go to something else. You've seen this before. Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim v'et haaretz. What are these things? Now you know what haaretz and hashamayim are. Hashamayim means the heavens or the skies, and haaretz means the land. And you also know what va means there in that last line. Va means and. So the heavens and the earth. But in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. What are these words that apparently aren't doing anything in this text? We haven't translated them. Well, these are the markers of the definite direct object. I call these MDDO. Coutts and Joesberger have a slightly different terminology for them, the definite object markers. But just know that the sign of the definite direct object, the mark of the definite direct object, the direct object marker, all these are different words and phrases that we can use to refer to this exact same thing. That is, it can show up as et or ate, but it shows up before a noun, and it shows up before a definite noun, like hashamayim, or haaretz, the heavens, or the earth. It can show up before a name, like David, or a place, like Jerusalem. It's always about a definite direct object. Now, what is a direct object? Well, a direct object is the thing that the verb is acting on. So remember, you have a subject. So in the Genesis 1, the subject is God. God created, that's the verb. God, the subject, created the verb. And what did God create? The heavens and the earth. That's the direct object. The direct object is whatever the verb is being done to. God is the doer. The verb create is the action. And what is being done to, what is being created? The heavens and the earth. Those are the direct objects. Direct object because they're the object of the action. They're direct because God is directly doing something to them, creating them. So, these following things are understood to be definite. Nouns with the definite article, like Hamelech, right? The definite article makes things definite. Also proper names like David, and nouns with suffixed pronouns. Now, we haven't really gotten to this yet, but just know that in Hebrew, you can add some stuff to the end of words to say my or our or your or their. So their king, our king, my king. There are some things that you can add to the ends of words. So you know Melech means king. Melech means king. And then this little thing new here, you can add that to the end of any noun and it'll be our. So Ir means city. Add new to the end of it, and that's our city, the city of us. So in any event, you don't need to memorize that right now, but just know that that makes a word definite. So a king is not definite, but our king, that's a definite king, right? We're talking about a specific one. If I talk about a Hebrew class, that's indefinite, not definite. But if I talk about our Hebrew class, then now you know a specific Hebrew class I'm talking about. Ours, the one you're in right now. So those are all definite things, and those can be, not always, but they can be introduced in the sentence by the marker of the definite direct object, that is 8. Now, they can be introduced that way because it's just the way that Hebrew speakers let you know this is the thing that the verb is acting upon. They don't have to let you know, but it's kind of nice that they do. We don't translate this in English, so we just kind of leave it untranslated, but it helps us to see and know the different parts of the sentence. It's actually a really helpful thing. So, ani, this is a Hebrew way to say I. Ani, I, and then oved. This is a verb. We'll get to this verb later, but just trust me that this means serve. This comes from the root avad, to serve. So I am serving. Who am I serving? Et Hamelech. I serve the king. I don't translate this et. This is a marker of the definite object. So I am the subject of the sentence. I am the subject, ani. Oved, that's my verb. I'm doing, I'm serving. Hamelech, the king. This is the object of my service, the king. And it's a direct object, right? I am directly serving the king, and it's a definite direct object because I am serving the king, this king. I serve the king. All right, so Haim, Ovedim, et David. Haim is a word that means they. Ovedim is the same as Oved, except it has an im ending, a plural one. They are serving et David. They are serving object David. So they serve David. Anachnu, this is a word that means us. We, Ovedim, we are serving et Malchenu. We are serving the king of us. We are serving our king. The point of this is just that when you see et, you know that it's introducing the direct object, the definite direct object of the sentence. Okay, now you remember verbose clauses. You could translate this, Yahweh Kadosh, right? Yahweh is holy. Yahweh holy, right? Yahweh is holy. Remember, you can always add in that present tense of the verb to be, is, are. You can add those into Hebrew sentences to make them make sense. In Hebrew, you don't have to have a verb to have a complete sentence, but in English, you do. So this is a verbose clause. And we said juxtaposition, that just means putting right next to each other the subject, Yahweh, and the predicate, Kadosh. So Yahweh Melech, Yahweh is king, right? Or Elohim Bashamayim, God is in the heavens. So just like we talked about adding those prepositions a minute ago, we're going to actually show you that right now, or I am going to actually show you that right now. I just used the royal we, sorry. Let me show you this right here. So this word right here you memorized for vocabulary, but I know it might still be a little fresh, but this is ba. This is a word that means in, or it can mean on, or it can mean at the time of, but it's a preposition, a kind of word that shows you where or when something is. It's relating things in terms of time or space. So, ba'ir. Ir is the word that means city. Ba means in, and it has a schwa underneath it, so it's just in, city. And in Hebrew, if there's no definite article, then it's indefinite. In English, we have to add the word a to show that it's indefinite. In Hebrew, you don't need that. So in a city. Or bavayat, in a house. Bayat means house. Ba means in a house. Right? Huh? Or the word lamed, right? We saw we saw this earlier in translation. La'ir, to a city. Or labayat, to a house. So notice I can just stick those onto the words, just like building blocks. Ba'ir, bavayat, la'ir, labayat, and it's going to function in exactly the same way. There's another third preposition here, ka, and this means like or as. And these three prepositions are the inseparable prepositions. They don't occur by themselves. They only occur built onto other words. You've seen those before, and you have played with them, around with them a little bit. One thing I can say as well is if I want to say to the city, I add a patak here. This schwa turns into a patak, and that's the sign, really, of the definite article. I would also put a dagesh in the next letter. Remember, the definite article is hey, patak, dagesh. The hey, if I add my inseparable preposition to this, it kind of swallows up the hey. It makes it go away, in fact, and I'm just left with the patak and the dagesh. In a guttural like this, like an ayin, the dagesh would disappear too. So the only sign I have is an a vowel. For bayat, I would have the dagesh in my bait, and I would have a patak here. But so if it was la bayat, it would be to the house. Here it's la bayat. That means to a house. So you'll see this happen in translation a whole bunch, but you'll also just kind of know, because when you're translating a sentence and something is definite or indefinite, it often doesn't make sense the other way in the flow of the sentence or the story that you're translating. So there you go, inseparable prepositions. Check up with us for our next video, and we will explore the wild and wonderful world of Hebrew even further.